Good evening, Raleigh Martin. Doug's is Young, Trading Alert. Biavians from Biave, the reptilian in nature. They are from a faraway galaxy called Biave. The Lithuanian Neptunians are snake-like little creatures. But this is a very special breaking news alert. I got a subscriber request coin wrong on a second one. I did DNT. He wanted Quant coin. I apologize, my good man. Digital Asset Dad, you are an OG of this group, and you take top priority when it comes to making videos, sir. You are a loyal follower and often donate to the channel, and it is greatly appreciated. So we're going to give you what you asked for. I got one of the coins right. I misread DNT for Quant somehow. I apologize, my good man, and I hope you don't hold it against me. But we're going to get you off. Start with the basics here real quick, just to try to see what we got going on in this coin. We don't really have a whole lot. It looks like a new coin. If it's not a new coin, this is all TradingView gives me. I really didn't even know much about this coin. Digital Asset Dad, as you know. I believe your name was in there. I'm going to call you Digital Asset Dad because that's what I called you the first time because it was on there and that's what I remember you by. But if this coin goes back farther than there, I don't know about it. It's not on TradingView, so I can't use that price action just looking at this because I didn't even know this coin existed. Or I might have heard about it, but I never looked at it because it was something I wasn't going to buy. So, but we got upper resistance there, right? Then we just want to get some lower resistance and some upper support real quick. And we got that. That seems to be a big area of support. Then something you notice right off the bat too is a double top, right? You got to always take notice of that. That signifies something happened up there. The volume peaked back there and it's been crashing. And then we crashed the price. I think, I remember doing this coin for you, Digital Asset Dad, because I want to say first time you asked me the price was higher and I said it was going to come down and then it did. Maybe. I think it's that coin. Now, if we're looking at it, it's getting squeezed in between the 50 and the overhead 200 and the underneath 50. And then if we look out real quick, just breaking this down, we're going to find overhead resistance, right? Start back here. We got resistance there, resistance. And now we're going to use this old one right there. And now we're getting overhead resistance on it again. So it's 1, a fake out, 2, and now 3. So what I'm looking at for you, Digital Asset Dad, option 1, which is the least, Jim Rickards. I highly recommend my audience, Jim Rickards, drop the truth bomb. Read his books. Very knowledgeable guy, right? Highly recommend you read his books, buy his books, listen to his online lectures. It'll only benefit you in the long run. Trust me, it's benefited me. Digital Asset Dad, this is the least likely scenario, and I would not want to put money on this. That you can come out, and then you break, then you get supported on that, and then you attempt to make a run up here, and then you get supported right there, and then you got to see where it goes from there, right? Least likely scenario, and I would not put money on that. Nor am I a financial advisor and cannot recommend you putting money on anything. This is strictly entertainment and educational purposes only, and my own personal opinions on the thing. And that, to me, is the least likely out of a probability-based scenario, brother, right? I wouldn't put my money on that. If it gets up here, it ain't getting past without any kind of volume. The $47 mark, I don't even think it's going to get by this overhead major resistance right here. I don't think it's going to break that. I think it's going to get rejected. Personally, it could break it, but I think it's going to get rejected. And another thing that leads me to believe that is we sort of got a rising wedge. If we take that, we got some support. See that? Then we go on the top side. Oops, wrong one. Not yet drawing tool. Then we go on the top side, and we got resistance, and it's like a falling in resistance, and it's almost arcing right into that overhead resistance. And we know rising channels are bearish. Something else that gives us that indication is we're crashing in volume with our up and sideways price, bearish. It's almost forming that classic hook nose reversal pattern that it's an industry exclusive pattern. And that's what I think you're going to do. Watch out for that hook nose reversal. We're going to leave that out there just to remember that it's there, because everything's pointing to me that you're going to break. And digital asset data, if you're in this coin, I think you said you're trying to sell it high and buy it cheap. Here's a big thing I can tell you right now on this coin. If you break this uptrending support, that green line, and you break that, you're coming down here really quick. And you're ultimately, if you break it with volume, you're coming down to the target, which out of a rising wedge, my audience, wait for it. You all know, critical thinking. Can you fucking believe this jabroni wants me to critical? Yes, I can believe critical think, my audience. I don't even have to do that bit right now. But the target would be the bottom of the wedge, which would be sub $36, and then most likely a double bottom digital asset data down at 30, and then you got to play it by ear and see if you get any buy volume back there, or if you come up at the best case scenario, retest and then get rejected if you're going to come lower, right? So I think you said you're in this coin. If you break this key uptrending support right there, I'll make that a outstanding color so you can't miss that. If you break that and you come down from there, you're coming down. You're coming to the bottom of that wedge and probably a double bottom to start, right? If you break that. So I would monitor that area right there. And if you trade out of that, you're coming down. And you're coming down in a big way, at least to 36, but most likely to the bottom of the wedge to fulfill the pattern. And then you got to see if you double bottom and can hold, or if you fall through the double bottom and you continue down lower, because yes, there are targets much lower. But pay attention, your rising wedge is running out of time, right? The rising wedge running out of time. It's meeting right up into that overhead 200. We're going to throw some price targets to make this a little clearer. Digital Asset Dad, my loyal subscriber, OG. So this is your upper resistance and the top of your rising wedge at $46. We're going to clone that. No, not clone that, you fuck. You want to clone that. Clone. Right? So that's your upper resistance on your upper downsloping support and your rising wedge upper resistance. Your lower support at current price is right there at $43. And if you break that, digital asset dad, and the volume starts picking up, come on, trading view, let's clone that one more time. And you break that, you're coming immediately down there to $36. And then if you can't hold that and the buyers don't come in, you're immediately gonna, maybe after bouncing up a little bit, you're coming down to a double bottom where you just had that recent low at about $27-ish. It crashed lower than that, but the median of that crash was right there. And then you're gonna retest and see if buyers come in. If buyers don't come in, you have a long way down. Right? So those are your areas to watch right now. The rising wedge in orange, which is a bearish reversal pattern, and it's getting exhausted and squeezing itself near that green down sloping 200-day moving average, right? Or the green down sloping overhead resistance. It's squeezing the price into there with the rising wedge with falling volume, would lead me to tend to believe it's going to break bearish. And if it does and breaks past that upper resistance or upper support in the rising wedge at $43.69 at current time, I would monitor that quickly, because the price is going to roll over on itself. The least likely scenario is it takes that orange track and bounces up, holds support, right? It got moved, but you remember that it comes down here, right? And does something like that. Maybe it gets a little bit higher, and then we would have to play it. That's the least likely scenario. The most likely scenario is it breaks down out of this rising wedge as it's hitting that overhead resistance, the green line, and the falling volume. I think it's most likely to take the sell scenario. Peace and love. Peace and love.